Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, that was a word from our most gracious sponsors on the side of Band Gaming and Asus. The commercial for the sponsor we did not get to plug is Twitch. Love Twitch TV. You're probably watching this on Twitch right now, unless it's a YouTube VOD later on, in which we say hello from the past and hope things are well in the future. Very big blowout on the side of Maryville versus Central Michigan in the first game. Signs of life throughout. Definitely coming through for Central Michigan. It wasn't as hopeless as it may have seemed looking back at some of the stats on paper until just toward the end of that game. So hopefully they can come up with some really sick stuff here in the second game. We are just going to be waiting a few more moments for that one, and we'll hop back in with you guys when the game is ready to go. Don't go anywhere. All right, the readies are coming out from both teams, so we should be hopping into some sweet champion select. Actually, just about now. Perfect. So they're going to be pulling that up, getting ready to go. We're going to see What adaptations are going to be made on the side of CMU? Obviously, the onus does fall on them to adapt if they are the losing team. So, wouldn't be surprised to see sort of an ain't broke, don't fix it mentality coming out from the side of Maryville.
That is very true. Corpus, coming into our second game, we're going to be seeing probably very similar bands from Maryville, and then very reactionary bands from Central Michigan. Like you said, they do have, a lot to prove coming into our next game. Up to them to find a strategy that works better than their game once.
Sure, and to be honest, for a team like CMU to be able to come in and there were points where they stayed incredibly relevant, I'll say, with Maryville's plans and their draft and their competition. And so it really wasn't until kind of toward the very end of the game on that first inhibitor push that everything got kind of swept out from beneath them and the rug got pulled out from under their feet. Before that, they were, I think, making a pretty good display of why they're still in the top half of this division, right? They already have a win coming in from their game last week over another team because they know how to play League of Legends pretty well. It's just they've got some really fierce competition.
That is certainly very true. I'm just going to keep agreeing pretty much everything that you say here because it's all very, very correct.
Oh, man, Corvus is such a handsome guy, too. So wild. I mean, crazy.
I know, right? Imagine that. Okay, so we got a few things to talk about. We're only using 3 bands per team. That's a total of 6 bands here until the 10-band system is live on the live servers. If you guys are watching competitive professional leagues from around the world, you might notice that they've upgraded to a 10-band system, and that's going to be coming our way about midway through the season. So of course, let you guys know about that. But when you don't have as many bands, it's more difficult to limit these very big power picks that come out, and that's why you're going to see a Camille for Saskio, a champion that you almost always want to take off the board, just because she is very, very strong right now. A lot of things to do in her kit, and having that as the first pick here really, really strengthens Maryville's draft already.
I think so, too. They did not hesitate at all. Locked it in right off the bat, said, I want this, I'm taking it, and didn't even leave the option. So maybe pulling out that Zyra ban on the side of CMU, banning that against Maryville, left a pretty big gap that they're looking to abuse now. So I'm very interested to see. This is actually my first time casting a Camille game, too, so I'm excited to see someone like Saskia put that champion into action because he was such a force last game that on something that everyone is considering almost universally, I don't want to say broken, but dominant is the conservative phrasing I'll stick to there. It's going to be quite the pairing.
There you go, man. Dominant is certainly a pretty good word. I think we're going to be for some extra synonyms for that one coming up. So lock in on the Vayne, though. A little bit of anything you can do, I can do better thing against Prototype. Of course, very well known for the champion. However, don't really think we're going to see similar summoner spells for the Vayne coming out of Central Michigan, at least for the time being. It's going to be interesting to watch play versus Jin coming out Prototype, if in fact that is Prototype playing Jin. One of the trends that we've been seeing this season is towards ability power based bottom lanes.
Sure.
Could definitely be an 80 carry Cassiopeia, which would be building AP. I'm just going to call it a bottom lane Cassiopeia for those purposes. Sure. But I definitely would not expect that. It's most likely, Cat got in the mid lane just because he is very accomplished with that champion. It's a very meta mid laner, fits right in with his pool. Of course, also speaking about meta mid laners, it's going to be Syndra. Definitely fitting a little bit more. Now, Xerath's a pocket pick, and okay, that is going to get locked in. So it's actually pretty cool. Xerath is something you don't get a chance to see most of the time, but it is definitely a pick that Shyfron has run before, so wouldn't be surprised to see that there. And it is pretty unique to him. Now, if I recall correctly, Cat God used to play a fair bit of Xerath back when he was a little bit more on the meta side, so definitely not going to be a stranger to that matchup, although certainly not a champion that you expect to see these days.
No, not a bit. Has come back into favor a little bit with the Control Mage. I don't want to say flavor of the month because it's somewhere between that and the meta right now. just, I guess, vying for the spotlight with some of those assassin picks we see coming out. So predict high damage, but altogether possibly a little boring lane coming out from the mid side, unless Cat God or Shyfron are just hunting for blood. But the fact that neither have taken that Ignite leads me to believe otherwise. Do want to touch on the Ignite for Bard. Shadows is playing Bard, which I just think is awesome. I'm excited to see that happen. Bard is one of the more proactive supports in the game, so that's always more fun to see than just a heal and zoning style champion. And going up against Karma Jin, I think he actually has some pretty good kill potential here if they can abuse Jin during some of his weaker moments. So I'm excited to see how that one's going to pan out. Also, the Poppy.
And Poppy into Camille. It's a pretty good matchup just because Poppy does, for Poppy, just because she does get insanely tanky and eventually will just be able to do her own thing in team fights. Everybody's just like playing their own game. Now the problem is that Camille has almost insane range as far as her initiation goes. So if you're ever in a position where you want to get away from her, that's not a good spot to be in, especially early on during the lane phase. So definitely some worries up there, concerns if you want to call them that. But we're gonna have to actually wait for this game to start before we get in there. So before we head into our game, I think it's about time to jump to a quick commercial break. Before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We did it last rush, so let's make sure that you guys know happy to join with Band Gaming, Twitch, and Asus for the 2016-2017 Collegiate Star League season, and of course really happy to bring you guys the ULoL Campus Series. Hope you all are enjoying that. If you want to share your thoughts, you can tweet at ULOL, that's ULoL on Twitter, at C Star League if you want to let the CSL know what you are, what your thoughts are about today's games. And of course, both of us, it's at Rapid Casting and at Corvus Kovacs if you have any individual thought. But while you guys are busy getting those tweets out there and of course staying tuned, we are going to take the rest of our spectator delay to head out to a quick commercial break, show you guys what some of our sponsors have in store, and get into our second game in this best of 3 series.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our loveliest of sponsors. If you saw the first game, you no doubt saw a quite convincing performance coming out from the side of Maryville, showing exactly why they are on top. But if you're just tuning in, then you are also in for a treat, I think. We're going to see quite the exciting game number 2 just from this draft, some things that I really want to see in action, this Camille going on, this Bard in the bot lane, some of the pressure junglers coming out from Lee Sin and Vi. So all in all, I think the drafts are a lot of fun, right? They're pointing us toward a fun game, I think.
That's certainly one way. To at least take it away or rejoining you.
Rapid, I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing you from this end. I'm going to play around.
All right, how's this?
Oh, wait, whoa, much better. I think you were just
much better
dropping in and out for a second there. I don't know if that was mic sensitivity or what, but assuming it didn't come through on this end, could you go over that last thought again?
My last thought is that I was having to rejoin the game, but I'm already back in there, Corvus. So no worries there. We're going to see a 5-man invade coming out here from Maryville.
Very much so. Very in the same flavor as last game. They popped that ghost early on to try to chase down Double Lift. He was able to get out, but this time Camille is in there and looking for blood. Already half health. Lee Sin has connected as well too. That's a flash, but they don't have the health bars right now to start diving under towers. So burning out that early summoner on Vi is pretty critical before she gets to level 6. A lot of her early ganks rely on that flash vault breaker. So pretty clean play.
Man, super disappointed in Chody Walrus. He could have gone for the flash for flash trade since he did get the follow-up from Sonic Wave.
Right.
Would have been able to follow that up for a kill, and well, probably would have died at the same time. So, you know, got probably better safe than sorry, although that has not been the motto for the majority of this series.
Had to take the calculated trade, right?
Yeah, there you go. Gotta go for the big percentage play.
I'm actually
either way
wagging my finger a little bit at the side of CNU. This was almost exactly how their last matchup started, and I feel like if they'd devoted a couple more early wards, it's not like they thought that Maryville was a stranger to the level 1 invade, right? So they...
yeah, that is actually very true, especially when you have Camille. Level 1 invades are very, very likely. You saw the distance she was able to cover, the hearts at the end, just really, really scary to go up against, not just in the level 1, but also in lane. So we're going to be keeping a close eye up here because Saskia is definitely going to be wanting to put the pain down onto Prime, not let him start to scale up, which can be where Poppy starts to become a little bit scary to deal with.
Sure, that second or third item completion on that champion does make for quite the shift in a lot of games. If you're playing from behind and your Poppy starts to get with it, you can be telling some different stories with your play right around that 20-30 minute mark. Now, unfortunately for CMU, last game we didn't actually get to the 20-minute mark, so these points may be null and void if Maryville is coming to play the same way they did last time. Ooh, this is bad for Double Lift.
Out Chody on to Double Lift. Double Lift. Oh, the flash out there. Okay. First blood even still. Congratulations, Chody Walrus. Playing aggressively, and it's paying off.
No, definitely. He knew that Vi would likely start in that blue buff area, just a very reliant on that early cooldown reduction as a jungler. So not often you're going to see that one take red. Touch back on that in a minute, as we do have a little bit of a scrap coming out in the bot lane. It might just be nothing, as Shadow and Granby can't quite decide whether or not they want this. I don't think that was quite the communication they were looking for with the Ignite being popped. The follow-up not as extreme, but now Granby's in trouble, and actually going to have to flash heal to get out of that one. So definitely not the engage they were looking for. Shadows and Granby passing each other up, not quite playing on the same page as well as they could have.
Yeah, you could kind of tell there at the end. Oh, Double Lift actually here onto Papa Chow is going to get that courage of Colossus and is right on top. There's a flash in. Slow there on the Prototype and turn around, exhaust down on Modify Granby. The big crit comes in, but top lane Prime going to go down to Chody Walrus. In the bottom lane, we might have a turnaround. Here's Papa Chow looking to get forward, turn around onto him. Last auto attack should be coming through.
Oh, no, Double Lift! No, you're so close, but Prototype! Oh, no.
Oh my God, Corvus, what are we watching here? That was pretty sick.
So far, it is a quick 4 kills to 4 minutes, trying to at least keep up with that 1 kill a minute stat that they blew out of the water last time. So definitely taking their early game aggression to the next level from the side of Maryville. Already almost a 3K goal lead. This is a little silly. I don't know if it's just from the side of CMU maybe being demoralized after that first game to where they didn't even care about it and just let the Camille through, or maybe they were just not thinking about it too much. But whatever it is, it does seem like they're playing this game with a little bit of a looser grip on the reins here.
Man, we've these are some reigns that are going to be needing lots of blessings from Africa to be really something to watch out for. Nice. They're pretty much like, this is where you get on the horse, you're like, all right, giddy up, and the horse just like falls over, and you're like, whoa, definitely didn't expect that to happen. But as far as the 4-0 score right now, might have been expected if you guys have been paying attention to Maryville and all of their collegiate prowess. Now, definitely playing a cleaner game this time around than in game number 1. So certainly, if you're looking for comparisons, going to be seeing better things from them. Currently, the other good thing to notice is that they're playing a much different game. So instead of just like diving super crazy, they're kind of hanging back, and actually, this is something that you might expect to see from them later on in the season against more tippity top tier games. And I actually should just point out that as far as their division goes, they're playing against the next best team in their division,
Right.
and even still, you can really see the gap develop between both of these squads.
Sure, that is one thing that's, I don't know if it's necessarily a setback of having quite small divisions. There's not a huge number of teams in these divisions. It does mean that we get more comprehensive games out of them, but also if there is one dominating force in said division, for example, Maryville currently, I don't want to say steamrolling, but at least getting into Gear 2 steamroll, if last game's any indicator. So, all that to say, it is the trade-off. And
speaking of trade-offs, I just want to shout out Prine. He's actually holding his own pretty well up in the top lane. Not afraid to go in for these trades, and of course Doublelift right there to help him out, waiting in the wings. We'll see if they decide to go for that. There's the flash, dashing in. Saskio, like I said, so much ground to be covered.
Just half the lane away to Undertower in a matter of seconds. Very safe champion, but is now without mana, so I don't think Saskio can afford to stick around too long. Does have teleport advantage, so a back trade here should be pretty straightforward and might lead to the counter jungle of the blue buff for Vi.
Man, Hikua bottom lane, the sniper Reno coming through. Actually, finally, the kill given to Papa Chow, and Chody Waller's cashing in for a killing spree. Taking out the duo lane there. Central Michigan got some problems to worry about now, 6-0, and starting to hemorrhage turrets with the first one of the game going down in the bottom lane.
Right, and to touch on something from last game, last time around, they were at a deficit in their bottom lane. Mordekaiser at this point was still 2 kills and maybe 0 or 1 deaths. And on the side of Prototype, he hadn't taken anything, so they took the time to give him that first tower gold, just put the whole 650 on him to catch him up. Now, they just all grabbed it. They're like, we're not even going to worry about that. We know we're ahead, and we know that's not the same threat from Grandy, who's 2 deaths on the board, in stark contrast to last game, so they just ran right through the tower, ran right through the dragon, and it looks like they're going for a speed run of this League of Legends game. Nice flash.
Wow. Okay, I'm not. That flash was a little ambitious.
Sure. From
Cat God. I feel like maybe he has some other options, but either way, he's still in a super dominant position in his lane. He's up about 25-30 CS, and now to top lane, Chody back at it again.
Over before it even started. You see, Vi was actually there, maybe looking to execute the same plan, but was just 2 steps behind. And in a game of League of Legends against a skilled team, that's all it takes.
Wow, yeah, I gotta say, when it comes to having the fancy feet, Chody's been all the way on top of it.
Yeah.
Actually,
I feel like we saw that before. That's some deja vu there.
Ooh, mid lane though. Cat got trying to come up with some faker 2v1. It was actually a 2v2, and he dies. So that's about as opposite a situation as you could get. But Papa Chow coming up and at least helping that trade become a little bit more even, making it a 1-for-1 in the end.
Nice. Lead done there to at least recover something on a little bit of that mid lane pressure there. So Chow in the right place at the right time. Cat God just couldn't stay alive through it, and they did burn a considerable amount of resource to take him out, and that's going to be lapsing now as Prine is in trouble in the top lane, does get exhausted, has some good health bar to keep him afloat for a while, but there's only so long you can outlast 4 champions from Merid, and so they are just going to storm down this top tower with 2 kills in their back pocket. I think actually Walrus wants in for more. He tries to get in for the Lee Sin kickback, but does just get shut down instead.
Yeah, Chody kind of outplayed himself there. He was expecting to trade flash for flash, but neither of the champions who were there had flashes available.
Right.
So it would have been sick if he had predicted it, but instead he winds up going in and going down. So you get like half credit. You know, that's when you like get the math problem wrong, but you show your work.
Right.
He definitely
right,
showed
right.
his work, but didn't come up with the right answer.
Not quite. Holy cow, look at that distance covered. Thankfully for Granby, he's got that knockback to keep Camille off his case, but Saskia was wanting to just hop, skip, and jump right in onto the action there. Thankfully for the side of Granby, he did have that retreat option available, because that could have been pretty demoralizing if you're just trying to, farm your way back into a game in the bot lane is Dane. We'll get to that in a minute. Nice Bard ultimate, but will only prolong the inevitable, forcing the kill over to Chody Walrus, but I don't think that's a situation that's really gonna bother the side.
Okay, Chody once again trying to make the big play by getting this Sonic Wave through the creep by smiting it away. It wasn't necessarily necessary. Cat God and Chody back at it again. Going deep for it, and that time Chody does find the follow, but not the kill, oddly enough. He's actually going to die there, and big rotation from Prime coming to the mid lane and getting something done.
Absolutely. Tries to get in there, but Prototype is just a little bit quicker to the play. Actually had that fourth crit shot to just put the nail in the coffin, hammer it on down. Red buff is certainly going to be no slouch for that as well. And third tower of the game looking like it's just going to blow right over. They are just going for it.
They certainly are. Wow, what an experience. I'm so glad that we could all, bear witness to this monumental moment. At this point, we start to, oh man, Saskio, oh my god.
Prototype is there with yet another solidifying shot, taking out Vi this time. Double lift is dead. Prime's on the back line though and trying to get in, but doesn't have the health bar yet. Poppy's not there, and Cat God is cleaning house with the double kill. Maybe a triple kill. Jin has taken some away in that as well. He's got the triple kill, actually. Takes credit, but that was definitely a duo show if I've ever seen one. They are crushing down these towers. Teleport's actually coming out from the side of Camille, so they're looking to get maybe more than even 2 on this push. Only 12 minutes into the game. Holy cow.
Wow. Okay, well, that is certainly a fight right there, Corvus. Big props to Prototype way in the back, channeling that final hour and really helping out the rest of his team. Cat God was in a little bit of trouble there for a second, but he's got so much damage to put out. You look at his items and you're like, well, he's not actually going to deal that much damage, but he is way, way far ahead. He's level 10 compared to guys like Shadows, who's 4 levels down. Granby and Double Lift, both 3 levels down, so he is way up there as far as power is concerned, and he was really able to dish it out that fight.
At this point last game, actually a little later in last game, around the 15-minute mark, we were pretty even in kills. We had, you made your very clever 911 pun, mad respect for that one, but now we are nowhere close to just a 2-kill deficit. This is 17 kills separating them at only 13 minutes. It's as if, honestly, the first game, maybe Maryville was just holding back or trying to gauge their opponent, and now they're playing with the training wheels off here, and that could be bad news for Shadows if he gets caught back too far here. There's Leeson on the wings, does burn the ultimate, and Walrus will take that one in spite of Bard's best efforts. Shadows going down. Prime possibly the next one, but I think the inhibitor is really their main focus here. Prime wants to get in again, just like last time. Doesn't really have the health bar to sustain that engage, and Granby's left off to the side alone for it. This could be bad. Chased out of his own base. Gonna see if he can get out of that one. Looks like they're gonna give up and forget about him. The Xerath ult may have helped persuade that, but it's not gonna be enough to save the inhibitor. Maybe not even enough to save Double. If he's gonna get ulted up in on Walrus is in trouble maybe, but Saskio is there to help pick up the pieces of that one. Prime now gonna be one of the targets among Shyfron as well. That's absolutely massacring, and this could be a sub 15-minute victory here. Holy cow, they've got the inhibitor already. They have some minions. I think they can do this.
I mean, even if they couldn't do it, they'd still go for it at this point. Maryville certainly in a great spot to go for it, and look at Saskio. Oh my god. So fire burning on the dance floor, as our friend Sean Kingston would use to describe that Camille play. Just certainly incredibly dominant, and Saskio's looking for more there. Double Lift's got some friends here, so Saskio probably will have to run away. Luckily, that's actually something that she can do. Whoa, ho, ho, trying to get the fancy feet.
Hashtag scripting.
I mean, all I'm trying to say is Prine been putting in work. This game's got himself on the board with a couple of kills there, and currently with the best scoreline in the game. So you got to give him a little bit of a shout out for that.
Yeah, absolutely is at least keeping it real there. So
actually, when it comes to scores, if you reduce it down, I think Shyfron's actually just a teensy bit ahead. But either way, all I'm trying to say is some glimmers of hope there, and what is we gotta look for the silver lining in the cloudy series.
Well, they've got a better late game draft at least, right? Lee Sin falls off, Poppy does not, Xerath does not, Vayne most certainly does not. So it's just a matter of not losing in 18 minutes, right? Get to that.
Yeah, but
mark out.
Corvus, there's a Camille. So
I'm being optimistic.
Let's just start to be real about this late game here. Camille 5-1-9, fresh back from base, bought up with all these fancy items, and honestly, you just gotta, that's the name currently. You gotta put some respect on. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be easy for Maryville to turn off this game because Cat God's gonna get.
No, go on, please, all you.
Wow, I was actually a little bit speechless. I was so worried Cat God was going to survive. Instead, justice is served. He gets baited out, taken out. Now look at Chody Waller. He's getting a big kick, big knock up there. Shyfron going down. And Saskio, it's his game really to win or lose at this point. He's just going ham all over everyone. Will find his second kill, looking for his third kill. And Shadows is going to go down. Not going to make it much longer. There's the triple kill. Prototype, not going to make the penta possible. Picking up the ace in Maryville with a dominant team fight.
Absolutely. We saw a sub 19-minute game coming out the first time. We're going to see a sub 18-minute game coming out this time. Just chewing right through their competition. I mean, Maryville has put up such a force this game, and I don't even know what more to say to close this out. They're just toying with their enemies. They could have taken this Nexus long ago, but Saskio wants to pad that scoreline instead. Granby is going to get pretty beasted on. Prototype takes that one away, getting a legendary score for himself, 8-0 with 10 assists to boot. They're getting in under the tower as well. That's going to be unstoppable from Saskio, 10-1. Prototype wanted to get something, but does not. The game does indeed end sub 18 minutes, although they did drag it out just a hair there, chewing right through any defenses that the side of Central Michigan may have tossed up. So, proving why they're on top.
And on top is where they pretty much stayed all of last season, coming into the final, which was domination. So it's good to see consistency here as Maryville University do take the win today. Congratulations to them. And of course, if you guys are at Maryville and see some of these student athletes running around the campus, make sure to show them a little bit of love because they are out here repping your school and they're doing a pretty darn good job of it. So definitely it's always cool for me because I did not come from a school where intramural sports were actually very popular. So I would visit other schools and you'd see these basketball, football players, a lot of traditional sports stars on campus just walking around. You could tell that people treated them with an air of awe. And eventually, as games and esports do progress, especially on the collegiate level, you're going to start to see a little bit more of that. For these guys at Maryville, honestly, closer and very, very close to, being put on the same pedestal. And it's great to see them really showing up for, what they're going to college for. Of course, an education that they do have scholarships for, but it's a little bit more than that. It's kind of their job at the same time as they are on that esports sponsor or scholarship, and they're definitely putting in the work on both sides of the table. So really just want to congratulate Maryville, and of course on the other side, got to give a little bit of a shout out there to Central Michigan for keeping the games fun and trying their heart out in what was a very difficult series.
Right, gotta toss up the GGs for that one because they deserve it. I mean, how quickly have we? So to put this in perspective, if this were a bad team or if this were a solo queue match, not even a team at all, right? By this point, I'm sure at least one of the players would have DC'd, started inting, or just sat around in fountain clicking back and forth and spamming the laugh emote. So to stick with it, play it one out to the end, and to show really good signs of life throughout, right? Even at the parts where they may have been getting decimated, they never stopped trying things, whether it had been that last push onto Cat God at the very end, or some of the times in the first game where they just kept engaging right until the bitter end. They stuck with it, but ultimately it was the side of Maryville that ended the game with an 18K gold lead and almost as many in-game minutes. Really impressive play. So that is going to wrap up the first broadcast. If you are wanting some more action, if this has left you wanting more, do not worry, my friends, because we will be coming back to you a little later on tonight. We're going to go ahead and pull up the schedule for that as well. Believe that game is going to be Washburn versus Indiana Kokomo. So excited to see that one play out as well. We're going to give one last plug to our sponsors before signing off for the night. So, of course, if you've been paying attention, you have seen none other than shout-outs from Band Gaming in the commercials. Band is a social app, the primary social app of the CSL. Many features such as creating groups, which can be great for your CSL team or club, boards, calendar functions, polls, chat, many other things, including actually recently call functionality. They've added voice into that, so you can hop in there to discuss things with your team in real time. Band is a premier social experience for you and your fellow gamers alike. And of course, you can find out more at band.us/home or find them in the app store of your provided cell phone manufacturer. Next on the list is Twitch. Nothing but gratitude for the single largest streaming platform in all of competitive gaming. So grateful that they're continuing to support collegiate esports from PAX East and West and many more events. CSL wouldn't be what it is today without the help and support from them. So be on the lookout for some cool opportunities to get involved with Twitch in the near future. Be sure to show them some love for their support on twitter.com/Twitch and facebook.com/ you guessed it, Twitch. Last on the list before we hop to a commercial break is Asus. We want to welcome Asus to the CSL family for the 2016 and 17 season, provider of literally everything esports. I mean, anything you can imagine. Wonderful products such as monitors, laptops, routers, graphics cards, motherboards, and so much more. Don't enter your next battle unless you are equipped with Asus. And as always, I can personally vouch for that because I've been broadcasting this game live to you with the help of Rapid from my crispy clear Asus monitor. So a lot of love for that. I am Kyle Corvus Crow, joined by Rapid this evening. We hope you've had as much fun as we have.